Good morning, art friends. Today we're going to be drawing a kooky bird and flowers. I wanted to show you what the product was yesterday and how it looked after I finished it with all the watercolor. So remember, you pick a water or a color scheme to paint it in. That way it doesn't look very chaotic. I picked cool colors for mine. You can see how it makes a lot of those objects pop or how it makes them relax and sit back. So let's get started on our kooky birds. I have a cardstock piece of paper. I'm going to be using fat and medium Sharpie today. I do use fine tip Sharpie for the smaller details, but today I'll just use these two. That way they're nice and big. So with our kooky birds, we're going to be using shapes for their bodies. You guys can use circles, squares, hearts. I like to stick to circles and ovals. And then for their legs, we want them to be really, really long. So for our birds, I'm going to start with a fat Sharpie, so that way they're bold and they stand out. Because they're going to be kooky birds, they're going to be really, really high up, and we're going to make their legs really long. To make them kooky, we're going to make them silly. So I'm going to start with the body of the bird. So I picked a circle. If you guys want to pick a different shape, it's completely fine. His little legs are going to be super long, and I want to make sure they go all the way to the bottom of the paper. So I'm going to do wavy lines. You guys could do straight or zigzag lines. It makes your bird look even kookier. If you like to, you can add his little feet down there. I just do 3 little lines. Now for his tail, I do a triangle without a tip. So if it were to come all the way in, it would look like a complete triangle. For his beak, it's going to be a triangle. If you like to, you can add the line across so that it looks like his beak can come apart. Put a little dot for his nose. His wing's going to be a half circle. So instead of a full circle, we're going to cut it in half. It's kind of going to look like an orange slice. So I'm going to draw a horizontal line across, and I'm going to connect it with a smiley face. Okay, and now for his eye. Because he's a big, silly, kooky bird, I'm going to give him one big eye, and then a little dot. All right, my friends, so there's one silly kooky bird. So your other birds can be different heights, and we're gonna fill in between them with flowers. So I'm gonna make this guy a little smaller. He's gonna look up at this guy. Like, man, I wish I could be as tall as you one day. Little wing. I like to go back with my thinner Sharpie and add little hairs to them on top. Maybe this guy just has a spiral. Give him his little feet. Alrighty, and then I'll do one more bird. I'm gonna make him kind of medium. His tail, his beak, and we'll put it up here a little bit, make him look a little more different. He's got a super big eyeball. Just like, what is going on? Alrighty. Let's do his like zigzag. Let's make him a little different. Zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. Alrighty. Oh, and let's add some hair on top of him too. Alrighty, my friends. So now we're gonna make the bottom of the picture. So we're gonna add grass, and then we're gonna add our flowers. So at the very bottom, I like to add a line for grass. This just shows that they're standing on something. That way it's not just the bottom of the page that they're standing on. I like to go in and add little blades of grass. Little lines. You can also do zigzags, so that way you can color it in. Alrighty, and now it's time to add some flowers. So for the middle of my first flower, I'm going to use a spiral. Then I'm going to add just a bunch of skinny, stretched out ovals. Super skinny. Now if it touches his beak, I just want to make sure I overlap it, which means I have to ghost line it. Bunch of ovals for this one. You guys can choose any shape petal for your flower, of course. Alrighty, so then I'm gonna add the stem in there. You could make it a straight line, you can make them wavy lines, it doesn't matter. Alrighty, and then I'm gonna add the leaf. They gotta have those leaves. That helps them get photosynthesis, or they photosynthesize. The way they get food, the little plant bodies. And then I like to add things like little dots around it. Could be pollen, could just be a design. Alrighty, so this next flower is going to be very simple. Sometimes there's a lot of beauty in simplicity. So it's going to just be a couple of ovals. So I'm going to bring the stem up. I'm going to do an oval at the top. And I'll add more to it so it's not just an oval. Add another little stem coming off the side. Oval. Oval. And I like to go in between there. Oval. Now, so that this flower isn't super duper plain, I'm gonna add some leaves in there, remember, for photosynthesis. They gotta make sure they get their food. And then I'm just gonna add little dots around it. This could be any kind of flower. It doesn't have to look like one you've ever seen before. Just keep it really simple. Alrighty, and then I'm gonna put one flower in here. You could put one going off the page over here, but because I have something short, something tall, something kind of medium, something short, kind of want this flower to be a little bigger, kind of to fill in the space over here. If I make it too small, we still have a lot of empty space right here, and that could be something that makes the artwork look like it doesn't flow. So we really want it to flow. Okay, so for this one, I'm just gonna do a circle. And again, your flowers can look like anything. They don't have to look like mine, okay? I'm just going to draw little sticks. They're going to change in sizes. So little lines here. Alrighty. Then on each end of my little stick, I'm going to draw an open circle. That way I can color it in if I choose to. Kind of looks like a little germ, doesn't it? I'm going to add some little dots on the inside here. Alrighty, and now I'm going to draw its stem. Now if you want to color inside of the stem, you have to do double lines. That way you create a space that you can color in. If you just draw a line, you're not going to be able to color it in because there's no space. You could color around it though, and that can have a really cool effect. So then, remember that space thing I talked about? How if we don't fill it in, it looks very empty and that can draw someone's eye to it. So I'm gonna fill in this space with the leaves. And then over here, so there's not a whole lot of space, or there's not as much space. So I'm just gonna draw a smaller line, or a smaller leaf. Okay? And you could go around, I really like, this is when I take my thin Sharpie and I add smaller details. And I really think that adding small and thick details can make things pop a lot more. So with the birds being bold, fat Sharpie, they're gonna stand out the most. When I use this ultra fine tip Sharpie, line weight just adds a different look to it. I won't do it around every single one, but it just adds a different look. It makes it look a lot softer. So then maybe in this one I do some sort of pattern. And again, it just makes it look soft when it's the lighter lines versus heavier lines making it bold and pop. If you guys choose to, you can add something up in the sky, but because we have a lot going on the ground, if we do too much, it begins to look a little chaotic, a little overflowing, so to speak. So I try to keep it, if I have a lot going on the bottom, I don't do too much up in the sky. If you want to add something like clouds or a rainbow, please do so. I'm sure it would look amazing. All right, you guys, I hope you had fun drawing your kooky birds today. We'll see you again soon. Bye.